We were talking in that first segment about the budget deal. We hope somehow they'll be able to reach, but have great skepticism about. What about the GOP? Ron Elving, how is it affected by this whole shutdown and everything that went with it?
From a historical perspective, it's hard to remember a time when the Republicans have been quite at each other's throats in quite this way. John McCain has said extraordinary things about Ted Cruz and some of the other people who have taken over the party, particularly on the issue of the sequester, but also on the issue of the shutdown strategy and so on. It takes you back to 1976 when Gerald Ford was running for re-election or for election as president when he was already president, having become so after Nixon resigned. And Ronald Reagan challenged him for the nomination and split the party right down the middle. He almost went to the convention in 1976, and we had, of course, in the Carter presidency, the great fight over the Panama Canal, and the Republican Party was very divided. But in 1980, Ronald Reagan put an end to that, won the nomination, won the presidency, was reelected, and since then we have seen a conservative consensus in the Republican Party that has really governed that party over this 30-some-year period of time. What has changed is that a new party has formed almost fully out to the right of that conservative consensus. And that's a surprise to a lot of people. They wouldn't necessarily have expected that to happen. But what we saw in 2009 was a lot of Republicans and conservatives generally said the old Republican Party couldn't stop Barack Obama from becoming president and putting his his health insurance plan into effect, what we now call Obamacare. Therefore, we are going to create a new party or a new energy, a new dynamic that's going to move the party in a new direction and fight that law and fight this president far beyond what the conventional Republican Party was able to do.
Well, the Republican Party is in really sorry shape, and its approval among American people is way down. It was down to 24% in a record low in the NBC Wall Street Journal survey, which showed the damage that has been taken to the Republican brand. But here's the big dilemma for the GOP. So the Tea Party forces have led them down a path that has cost them dearly among people in the middle, more moderate Republicans, swing voters. On the other hand, that is where the energy of the Republican Party has come from since 2010. And the question is, can they somehow take advantage of the energy of the Tea Party without having all the damage from the Tea Party? And I don't think we know the answer to that. We saw the Cook political report. Charlie Cook, a friend of the Diane Rehm show, yesterday.
He's coming on Monday.
Coming on Monday. Well, just yesterday, the Cook political report changed the ratings of 15 House seats. 14 of them moved in the Democrats' direction. It puts the House of Representatives in play for the possibility of a Democratic takeover of the House in next year's midterm elections, which is something that previously did not seem possible.
I agree with that. I like that analogy about that these tensions between the base, the very passionate, energized, motivated base, and appealing to the middle. We've seen other organizations go through this or are going through it. The Democratic Party went through it in this country in the 1970s and 80s. The Labour Party went through it in Britain. And then the Tories went through it in Britain. The Catholic Church is going through it right now. And there are these real tensions. For the Republicans, for many of these Republican members, their only danger is going too far to the left, going too far to the middle, because then they will get primary. They are in safe Republican districts. It's not mostly gerrymandering. It's mostly that we've self-sorted geographically. Gerrymandering plays some role, but it's mostly that liberals are more likely to live with liberals and conservatives are more likely to live with conservatives than was in the past. And so the Republicans have this real problem, which is for the people in the House, moving to the right is a rational thing to do. It makes it very hard for them to win presidential elections. They've lost the popular vote in 5 of the last 6. They do badly amidst every fast-growing group in this country, young people, Latinos, Asian Americans, self-identified gays and lesbians.